G's, no design on my jacket. Work hard, now I'm changing my bracket. Talk tough, we ain't hearing that racket. Dots came in, you know how to stack it. Don't take it wrong, but I'ma need my ends though. I got tigers on my chest like Kenzo. Rail came, yeah, he putting that Benz though. Carol's here, man, you know he stay 10 toes. Big dog, man, you know I ain't worried. Bent up, so I'm talking real slurry. Got a blast, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Adam Caplan MMA show. I am your host, Adam Caplan, the voice in your ears. But we're going to be talking a little boxing today. We're actually not going to be talking MMA because we're talking about Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. And it's a good one because it's a catchweight fight at 136 pounds. Davis is the lightweight champion, WBA regular champ. But there's a little bit of a storyline here because Ryan Garcia is the young prime contender. He's got a great following behind him. He's a very marketable and, good-looking kid who's a great boxer. He's popular on TikTok. He's popular on Instagram. He is known in a lot of other, spaces and mainstream, I guess, social media, current events bullshit that Davis isn't. Davis is well known in the fight game, in the boxing game, in the mixed martial arts game because he's a talented fighter who's come from humble beginnings and a rough background to now being a world champion and one of the best, most exciting fighters and knockout artists in the lighter weight classes. But Ryan Garcia is more known as like a pretty boy, the guy who's showing how fast he could punch on social media, the guy who's doing the body shot challenge, the guy who's constantly hitting his Cobra bag that his father and him patented, the guy that, is showing how he could hit pads and hit the bag without looking, but then he started performing in the ring as well. I believe it was against Lucas Hammond. He showed that he does have resiliency. He did get knocked down in the earlier rounds and then ended up winning that fight. And Ryan Garcia has shown that the swagger and the lights and the camera and action is the real deal Holyfield, and that he is ready to go out there and put on an emphatic performance against Gervonta Davis. And he's been calling out Davis. A lot of folks are thinking like, oh, Garcia's out of his mind. What is he thinking? Trying to fight Tank Davis. But Garcia has been asking for this fight. And it was on and it was off and it was on and it was off. Classic boxing for you. But April 22nd, we're getting this fight now. But with the rehydration clause. Ryan Garcia is the taller fighter. He's the bigger fighter. Gervonta Davis is the smaller guy who might have to get up inside on Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia does pack a pretty powerful punch himself. And Davis doesn't want him blowing up after the weight cut. Davis doesn't want him coming in there over 150-something pounds where Davis is probably only going to put on about 10 pounds. Davis, I'm sure he cuts a little bit of weight, but let's be real here. I think that Garcia, there's a reason why the fight has to happen at a catch weight. Because Garcia is the bigger guy. But, thought it was a little bit uncharacteristic of Tank Davis. Thought that, knowing him and where he's come from and how he's performed in the ring time and time again, that he wouldn't have cared what Garcia came in at. But clearly he does. But he is showing boxing intelligence. Seems as if also he's listening to the people surrounded by him. Because I don't think that this is an original idea from Tank Davis. I think that this is an orchestrated decision by the team of Gervonta Davis. So, got to give a little bit credit when people are listening to the suits behind them, when fighters are listening to the suits behind them, because sometimes they know what they're doing. So it's going to be a great fight because Tank Davis is a smart fighter who, like Floyd Mayweather, likes to download the data of his opponents. And Garcia is known for having a fast start. But let's be real here. I don't think he's going to be as eager to have as fast as a start against Tank Davis as he's had against his other opponents. And that could pose for some difficulties because if Davis is plotting, downloading the data of Ryan Garcia, and Garcia is being hesitant as well because Tank Davis isn't opening up, might be a little bit slow start to the fight. But at the same time, that could also be beneficial to Tank Davis because I think it's up to Garcia to pick up the pace early in the fight to be able to put it on Tank Davis while he's maybe in his downloading data stage. Because Garcia is a fast fighter with an electric left hook. But then again, we're talking about a great, talented southpaw with a slew of knockouts in Tank Davis. He's got a beautiful left uppercut that we saw against Santa Cruz. So what's going to happen when Garcia gets hit by an uppercut like that? Because Garcia has a tendency to leave his chin up in the air and to close his eyes when he punches. And when Tank Davis is up inside throwing those punches in bunches, and Garcia might not be able to use his reactions and keep his eyes open to keep his eyes on the prize, he might get hit with an uppercut because he leaves his chin in the air. But at the same time, Garcia packs a beautiful left hook. And it'll be interesting to see how Garcia gets to kind of understand the pace of the fight. You know, some of the greatest of all time, like Tom Brady will use as an example in football, when he's watching that defense rush him, it's a lot slower than when you're a peewee quarterback. Why? Because he has so much experience, so much IQ, and he's so much better than everybody else out there that the game appears slower in front of him. So it'll be interesting to see how the fight and how the perception of the fight is, reciprocated by Ryan Garcia. Because if he thinks that Tank Davis is going out there like Vegeta and Goku fighting in a Dragon Ball Z series saga, it's going to be tough for Garcia because he's going to leave his chin up in the air and Tank Davis is going to find a home for it. But Ryan Garcia has the reach. He's got a good jab, a good left hook. He's got the confidence and the youth behind him. And he's got a story to tell right now that he is the next up. And he has the opportunity, April 22nd, to go out there and put it on Tank Davis, a world champion, one of the most dominant boxers that we've seen in this era, and somebody that not a lot of fighters are calling out. But Ryan Garcia is calling out Tank Davis, and he's been calling him out for a long time. So big ups to Ryan Garcia, because that's going to be an exciting one. Rehydration clause or not, this is going to be a very, very entertaining matchup. We're going to be able to get a lot of stories found out here. Is Ryan Garcia ready for the next echelon of fighters? Has all of the controversy and the overwhelmingness and the pressure of the personal and boxing life of Tank Davis finally going to catch up to him? Is Ryan Garcia a social media superstar, or is he world champion material? And how much more moments will Tank Davis create for us in the boxing ring? So there's a lot of questions to be answered there. We got a beautiful left hook in Ryan Garcia versus a fucking diabolical, first time I swore in the last 2 episodes, by the way, a diabolical left uppercut and just a smarter fighter in there in Gervonta Davis. And that's the beauty of boxing. Ryan Garcia knows how to show us all the glitz and all the glamour and say and do and show and perform all of the right things when the cameras are on him. And Gervonta Davis is not necessarily that guy. But you best believe when those Showtime lights are on or those Mayweather promotion lights are on, Tank Davis performs. So it's going to be an exciting one. Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, April 22nd. That's the Adam Caplan MMA show. We're out, baby.
Big cheese, no design on my jacket. Work hard and I'm changing my bracket. Talk tough, we ain't hear that racket. Dogs came in, you know how to stack it. Don't take it wrong, but I'ma need my ends though. I got tigers on my chest like Kenzo. Rail came, yeah, he putting that Benz though. Carol's here, man, you know you stay 10 toes. Big dog, man, you know I ain't worried. Bent up, so I'm talking real slow.